It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Wake in the building! It's been like 2 whole weeks, Wake.
It wasn't 2 weeks.
Last week and this week.
Last week now.
And this week.
It felt like a whole month.
Honestly,
I thought it was like a month.
Wake, you need to stop disappearing like this, honestly.
Meanwhile, I went to Togo.
What's going on in Togo?
Theo's family, Kenny. See, on the way back, you see this Nigeria is tanky person.
Hey.
34 checkpoints
Counted.
from the border.
You counted?
Yeah, till after the bridge. 34 check, and each one they were collecting 1,000, 2,000. I'm not joking. When it became, it almost became fights.
Videos.
Like Theo's sister was like,
What is all this?
About.
I'm not fine.
Madam, how you doing?
Madam, Nakore, that woman still took money. Can you imagine? And I'm wondering, how do you want to boost the tourism? I saw those smugglers, I know with their plenty. How are they passing? 34 checkpoints.
YK, you know, it takes 2 to tango. You also gave. You shouldn't have given.
You will sleep there.
You should stay in Togo forever.
You will sleep there.
Wow.
Anyways.
So it's not, no, they have to stop it.
Yeah.
If I was a tourist, I won't come.
Yeah.
And you're stopping me like this, I won't come. Yeah. If you want to boost this economy and boost the tourism, those kind of things have to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Find a way to settle those people.
You have been speaking a lot about.
Anyway, YK, you've gone for a while, please. We don't want to lack on you, and it's Thursday. Calm
Okay,
down.
I shouldn't lament.
Don't lament here.
Okay, I'm doing a job. Let me tell you that one. Can I say that one?
Yes. What happened? Which job are you doing?
For SARS Academy.
SARS
So
Academy.
I'm just training some young people how to perform.
Oh, nice.
Enjoying it.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it started yesterday
Where at the shrine?
at the shrine. So we do Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's for 3 weeks, and then on Fridays they will perform. And it's so interesting.
Like, you need to do this consistently so that every year we can have people register.
They're young kids, 22, 21, young kids.
These are
But
adults,
it's-
YK.
to me, they're young. I'm 62. They're, but
Energetic.
so the girls are very shy. So I'm like, trying to get them out of there.
That's so cool. Fantastic, YK.
today-
We should have done dance summer school with you.
Yeah. We should have a YK Academy. YK Dance Academy, YK.
You know.
I'm saying, I don't understand.
Okay,
YK.
continue. Next person.
YK Dance Academy. It's
It's
going to
about your academy.
Yeah, remember somebody took you to Australia at that time. You went to go and train them. So these are, they're already being recognized globally. Might as well have an academy.
Okay.
Think about it.
Next
What's
person.
happening.
Next person.
Maybe I don't have banter. I'm just excited that YK is here.
Yeah. Let me jump to Tope. How are you doing, Tope?
I'm good.
And I'm showing off your weight loss.
Don't mind her.
No.
I'm so jealous.
Please, yesterday I wanted to do my BP yesterday because I was feeling dizzy, and I checked 2 pharmacies and their BP machine wasn't working. I think that it's very important that we check, have functional BP machines within the pharmacies, and people should learn to check
At home.
and having at home, and people should learn to check on their health. So it was a scare. I was just wondering, why am I so dizzy? And I checked, I realized I was not eating. So this morning I've taken Ogi already.
All right. Let me come to Damola. How are you doing, Damola?
Very well.
How's it?
Very well, thank you. It's been an amazing week, and my son is moving to the senior school, so we went for his graduation.
You have a
yesterday.
son?
Yes. have a 13.
When you say senior school,
What? Yeah, he's moving from junior school to senior school.
That's SS1.
SS1, yes, so from GSS3 to SS1.
Wow.
And then it just, brings back memory of when I had him when I was in school, how much I've put into raising him, and just seeing him grow into a fine young man. It was quite emotional for me
I
yesterday.
can imagine.
That's good. Congratulations to that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
I can't even believe you have a son.
She's so hot.
How old are you?
YK. Edeo, you started though. Calm down.
So the way we just face that.
Somebody just,
Take your time.
there's a comment here for you. YK is fast becoming a guest artist. Because you are hardly around. Anyway, let's go on a break.
Are you
Today's
the
our...
only person that said that?
You know him very well. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
NNPCL's $3 billion buffer to strengthen Naira stabilized exchange rate. PDP members protest at the inauguration of Osun Council caretaker committees. Customs intercepts 299 cartons of codeine syrup along the Lagos-Ibadan road. Tight security to prevent attack on railways. Chidoka, PDP will collapse if not reformed. And Ahmed Hassan is Jay's Bank's acting MD CEO. All right, let me start with the codeine. So Nigerian Customs yesterday intercepted about 299 cartons of codeine syrup concealed in a DAF truck that was stopped along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The acting Controller General, that's Bashir Adewale Adeni, said that the interception was a demonstration of services committed to curb the menace. According to them, an examination that was carried out on the truck saw about the cartons of codeine was quite enormous. The codeine syrup is designated as a controlled item due to its rampant abuse by our delinquent youth. Many of you know it already is a banned product in Nigeria. The misuse and illicit distribution of codeine containing medications have given rise to grave security and public health concerns. It should be properly prescribed. You can't use it indiscriminately in the country. In response, regulatory measures have been implemented to curb its availability and unrestricted access. This underscores the importance of the work NDLA is doing to prevent and stop the express use of this drug. I mean, codeine is really, really high. 299 cartons. That's part of the smuggling we were talking about earlier. Okay, another story in Nation.
Yes, I have security agents have been deployed in the bushes and train stations on the Abuja-Kaduna rail corridor. They said the deployment of soldiers and other security agents is one of the security measures that's been initiated by NRC, that's the Nigerian Railway Corporation, because they had heard about a plot to attack trains plying that route. Some of the things that have been put in place, they said there's CCTV camera. They've got about 15 security personnel, policemen who will be, 15 riot policemen who will be on board the train. And then there are soldiers around bushes. There's also going to be all sorts of air surveillance. And this is in response to a letter dated August 11 from the DSS. And it says that it says, intelligence reports indicate an impending threat to seamless train transportation along the Abuja-Kaduna train service. And in view of the threat inherent, they need to forestall likely breach of security. And so the extra military checkpoints, rail track military checkpoints, patrol police checkpoints, patrol security, and so many others have been deployed to the area to protect.
Okay, I wanted to take the Chidoka story. He's talking about the PDP will collapse if they don't have reforms. He says he was the former aviation minister and he's a chieftain of the PDP. He says that if they don't face reforms very soon, they will collapse. He says that they were in government for 16 years, so they have not gotten used to being an opposition party. So they still talk as if they are government, they're still in government. But it has taken them 8 years to realize that they are no more government. They better start criticizing. So they are not going to be criticizing the Bola Tinubu administration, and hopefully
the APC needs a good opposition party.
Exactly, they don't have.
They have to.
A good opposition party. They said because they thought they were still in government.
Imagine, come on, that doesn't make it.
After 8 years.
After 8 years.
It's taking them 8 years to realize
it. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I was going to take a story about the NNPCL $3 billion buffer, and it is coming as a good news. I took the story yesterday about the fact that there's going to be there's going to be a meeting that will take place yesterday that was going to ensure that all those speculating and buying dollar with the hope that it will hit 1,000 should quickly go and sell. And good news is yesterday the Naira gained 100, which is 2%. In the parallel market, it was before then it was only for 950 something, 970 something, but by the close of business yesterday, Naira was selling for 840 to $1 in the parallel market, and in the official window, IE window, it was selling for 759. And this is based on the contract signed by NNPCL and Afrexim Bank in Cairo, ensuring that NNPCL is able to give Nigeria $3 billion liquidity, which will be available upfront. And it's an exciting news. I'm happy to see a bit of stability
I thought we were going to give it in tranches, though.
Yes, it's not going to come all through, but the fact that there's going to be dollar coming in,
Yeah.
that amount,
Yeah.
gives the country a better leverage, and there will be less speculation.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Ministerial portfolios, oil workers demand results as Tinubu heads Petroleum Ministry. Miscreants terrorize Lagos communities, government vows clamp down. Crash. Army chief deploys more soldiers in Niger, villagers flee. Panic in Ibadan settlement as Mogaji seals 200 houses. FG tackles forex crisis with $3 billion loan. Atiku knocks Tinubu. Nigeria earns $742 billion oil revenue in 21 years, says Nati. Naira rebounds, trades 850 Naira to the dollar at parallel market. Okay, which story are we taking? Let me start with the human interest. Did you have that? I took that story.
You took it.
So,
go on.
Some residents of Lagos have expressed concerns over the increased activities of miscreants in certain areas. According to the report, however, it's in Ikeja Under Bridge, Berga, Agege, Penn Cinema, and others. But I would also like to add Ikoyi, VI area, and Lekki, because I know that we've got a lot of reports within those areas too. The residents have complained that hoodlums, they took their belongings while they're actually on their way to work or coming back from work in the Yanokpaja area. According to this particular witness, he says, I was going to Ogba, to Ikpaja, and I bought an keke in Penn Cinema where I was about to cross the bridge, and then they accosted him, demanded all his money. He told them he didn't have money. They pushed him on the railway and demanded everything he had, and he had to give them 7,000 on him, which was on him. He had to give it to them. So the government, actually, they're doing what they can. According to the government, they putting together a task force, according to the spokesperson of the Lagos State Environmental, trying to get his full name here. No, actually, the chief press secretary, actually, governor of the governor, Mr. Gboyega Akoshile, said that the government is working assiduously and seriously to rid the state of miscreants. Actually, the state task force, headed by Shola Jejeloyi and other agencies, are at work ensuring that they rid the state of all these miscreants and protect the citizens from all these hoodlums in the various neighborhoods that have been identified. Okay, another story in
Yes,
Punch.
they say over 200 houses were said to have been sealed off on Wednesday at Monia in Akinyele local government area of Oyo State by a Mogaji. That's a compound head. He was laying claims to the ownership of the land. So there's a previous warning that had been made by the Olubado of Ibadan where he warned all Mogajis and Bales not to resell any land or property already disposed of by their forebears. But yesterday, they said that 4 communities, Alaja Phase 1, Alaja Phase 2, Isaguna, and Akpomode on Wednesday, the residents, they had police officers and people coming in demanding that they pay money. People say, one of the persons that spoke to the reporter said, I've been living here 23 years, and all of a sudden they're asking me to pay again for land or houses that have already been sold. So it looks like it's an ongoing thing. Lands or properties that have been sold before, the children or whatever will come back and ask for money on those properties again, even though a warning has been put out for them not to do it, but they're able to do it with police officers, which is also strange. So I guess we'll find out how this has been will be handled going
some
forward.
people running helter-skelter.
Yes.
Can you imagine? So people, you have lived there for 23 years, they just come and evict you. It's wrong.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch.
Yeah, I was going to take the Naiti story, but just above Naiti story was the story that relates to me. Inflation hits developers, and the chairman of Red and Lagos chapter is crying out to the government to see what they can do speedily. He said that based on the economic factors and the changes that took place under this administration, it has caused a huge impact, that the cost of building materials are largely imported and it has gone up by over 70%. Said the cost, that's from the chairman of Lagos Redan, Bamidele Onolaja, mentioned the fact that to get laborers to do the work as well has really increased. Sharp sand, granite, aluminium, roofing sheets, tiles, that it is leaving developers a lot to grapple with.
Right.
And he's asking the government to step in and also work with, because many people are shouting. I'm always taking the story of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, but today I'm taking the story of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, so that the government knows that this area too is very important.
Okay, Daily Sun very quickly. Fagbemi for AGF, Umahi works, Wike FCT, Badaru Defense. NNPC moves to save Naira. Nigeria attack Chief of Army Staff visits troops, charges them to go after bandits. Mba Edeoga adopt final addresses, awaits final judgment. Varsities poly lecturers migrate abroad through our foreign scholarships, says TED Fund. How Nigerian crew members, Britain died in Seplat's drilling rig mishap. 2023 polls, Nigeria now in their need of healing, rebuilding, says PFN Makinde. Okay, which story are we taking?
So the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, went on his solidarity visit and assessment to the Niger State, following, as we know, the troops' encounter with terrorists in Zungeru in the area. And then we also are aware of the supreme price some of the soldiers had to pay. They lost their lives. So the Chief of Army Staff, first of all, commended the troops for their bravery. He urged them not to allow the incident dwindle their morale, or rather to do everything in their power to defeat the adversaries of our people and take back every inch of space where they are hibernating in our land. And he says also that this is a noble profession of arms, and so one of the noble professions, that's what they are practicing. And he also assures them that the troops, that he will do everything within available resources to give Nigerian Army personnel and their families the best in terms of welfare. And he says that topmost in the pillars of his command philosophy, directed the immediate reinstatement of troops with additional combat enablers to enhance their operational effectiveness. I mean, that sounded good. It's good morale boosting speech to give them. And thank you to our military, and our hearts go out to the families of those who have lost loved ones.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, want to take a story now?
Right.
Let me go ahead, please.
Okay. So, varsities, police, COE lecturers jackpot through our foreign scholarships, TED Fund. So TED Fund is complaining that some of the lecturers that they sent on a scholarship, to bring in more knowledge, have absconded, they have jackpot. If there's a word like that.
So bad.
Yes, and they are saying that they are working with the schools where they send these lecturers to ensure that once their programs are done, they bring them back home, because we cannot continue to spend a lot of money sending these lecturers abroad and then they don't come back with the knowledge that's the lens.
I took the story about the Seplat Synergy, the drilling rig that collapsed. I think it was early hours of Tuesday morning. We're waiting for confirmation of those who have died. You took that story already?
No, go ahead.
Oh. So, well, based on this story, 2 have been confirmed dead. Britain and 5 Nigerian oil workers have been reported dead in, not 2, Britain and 5 Nigerian oil workers have been reported dead in the drilling. I took that story yesterday, but I wanted to confirm that indeed if they were saved from the rig, about 92 out of 96 were saved, and we're waiting for the remaining 4. But now it's confirmed that 5 of them have been.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just an addition to that, because it's basically the same story. Nimasa is saying that the rig that capsized was operating on Nigerian water since 2016 without requisite approvals.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune very quickly. Naira gains and NPCL gets $3 billion loan to stabilize currency. Niger crisis, ECOWAS military chiefs to meet in Ghana. The master says capsized drilling rig chartered by Seplat operating without approval since 2016. And yeah, nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. Okay, which story? Any new story there? Niger crisis, what was that?
Niger, yes. ECOWAS military chiefs to meet in Ghana. And the story says the military chiefs of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, will meet on Thursday in Accra, Ghana, amid tensions over a possible military intervention in Niger, according to Ghana's army spokesperson. And ECOWAS is saying that they would continue to use dialogue, to solve the issues, the arising matters in the country, and also, ensure that they restore democracy as soon as they can.
Okay.
It's just an update on the Niger story.
Vanguard, Wike, Umahi, Edun get FCT works and finance ministers, respectively. Naira appreciates, we talked about earlier. Let's find out the story of not taking Sanusi to Nigerians. Don't allow presidents, governors to intimidate you. And I think that's pretty much the story in Vanguard today.
Yeah, Sanusi has said that we should not allow governors or presidents to intimidate us. Speak your mind. He said, speak your mind. He said, it's not all of us that can be politicians. He said, if he had tried to be a president or a politician, he would probably have won, but that's not what he's cut out for, and it's not all of us. So those of us that are not, we must hold them accountable, because if we don't, it's our children that will suffer. There will be no country for our nation to come to. So please, don't be afraid to talk. So it's not a comfortable situation to be in. That by the time these guys might have finished with us, our children will not have anywhere to call a nation.
I wonder what informed that
conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been an event, somebody was speaking somewhere.
I don't know.
They said when it was a viral video, actually.
Yeah, it was a video, but I'm just wondering what instigated that, because he was saying that don't let any president intimidate you, don't let any governor intimidate you, you're not inferior to them because they're in political positions. And I'm like, okay, what led to that conversation?
Maybe he's getting some pinching. There was a story we skipped. It seemed a bit of comfort to the governor of Ogun State, Dr. Abiodun, who's the tribunal sitting on his case. The allegation that came against him was the fact that there was vote buying and inducement of voters by Ladi Adedibu, who is the PDP, Adebutu, the PDP candidate, gubernatorial candidate. But the case was struck out at the appeal court sitting in Abuja. They affirmed the decision of the Ogun State's governorship election petition tribunal, saying that he's rightfully in his position. They also mentioned the fact that, and at this point, at least we know that that position is no longer under contention in any form. They cited several court cases, and the judgment was read by Justice M.B. Idris.
Okay, let me just read the headlines on The Guardian. Resurgence of killings threatens North Central State's food production. And there's an interesting data here from The Guardian. It says 1,200 lives lost in North Central due to banditry, kidnapping, farmers' herdsmen clash. And we're saying that in Benue, we have about 300 lost. Nasarawa, 250. FCT Niger State, 90. Plateau, 600.
Yes.
Kidnapping in Abuja has been 15 and Niger, 8. So these are really damning data that must be able to push the government to find some kind of solution very quickly.
I guess when you know. So I was telling my husband this morning about we were discussing Plateau and the cleaning, and I'm like, having you here and knowing you and knowing that I know someone whose family is in Jos, and I'm hearing stories of what is happening. It has a different meaning, because I understand the impact is not just numbers. Yeah. This is a huge number that no government should overlook when they are hearing.
Even it was Stella Dean, the director of news, her village was distressed. She had to leave and go and see how she can attend to people in the village. So it was really, really, really painful. So it's pretty close to home here. Final paper this day, let's find a story of not taking. Tinubu assigns portfolios, we discussed that already. FBN Holdings announces Otedala as non-executive director. Tinubu, Jonathan, Mark, Ogbega, Bago, Obaseki rejoiced with Babangida on his 82nd birthday. Yeah. Wow. And Forex crisis, we must export these things. will not get better, says Obaseki. You wanted to take that story earlier, but I discouraged you because I thought we wouldn't get there. But okay, I think that's all we can take.
Happy birthday to Babangida. A lot of people were praying against his life, but the man has decided, lived long enough, despite all the causes. Let Nigerians realize
that was in Hope 93, you know, the energy there. So when you think, so well, you said, you posted a video recently of young people, those, what the comrades, you know, when they were really back then, and I saw the energy. Fast forward.
Causing bad leadership or causing leaders does not make any difference.
Doesn't work.
Just vote, speak up in the right way, like follow the rule of law.
In those days, according to the events, the people are not allowed to. People did cast
their
their
votes
votes,
did not
but their
count.
votes didn't count, which was what caused
Because
the
they increase safe.
Anyway, we have to go.
Again, God has plans,
He has
his
his
own
own
plans.
That's all we can take on Front Page. Today is Thursday. It's our gisting day, but unfortunately, we can't gist quickly because the president just released the portfolios of the ministers. So we'll be hearing your reactions to this list. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So yesterday, the spokesman for the presidency, Mr. Ajuri Nglale, had released the names and portfolios assigned to the ministers. And Nigerians have been looking forward to know who gets what. And many of us were fairly shocked at some of the names attached to certain portfolios because we had expectations of who we thought would ordinarily get certain portfolios. But the list came as a surprise to many Nigerians. Some actually were perfect fits, we felt. Many Nigerians felt that way. But what are your own thoughts? You can call us on 081-764-1679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read it. Let us hear your own understanding and interpretation of the president's pick for the portfolios and how he added some ministries, divided some, had Minister of State. I thought we had gotten rid of ministers of state, but he had actually introduced it again, just like his predecessor. And I mean, some interesting appointments. What are your general thoughts? Who would like to go first? I know that many were excited about the Boston Tijani's portfolio. And it was pretty, because people were hoping that he would do digital economy, and he was given exactly that.
Yeah, we're not surprised about that, but we're surprised about Wike.
FCT.
You know,
Former governor
of Rivers State getting FCT. Like, who would have thought? We were all speculating maybe they would have fit him into works, roads, which falls under works, housing or something. Something infrastructure related because of his personality. But we've decided to put him, and also the fact that he's from the South and he's the minister for FCT. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened so far. So I believe that there'll be some conversations that'll be had, and
which one surprised you?
I think that's a welcome development.
Yes, because FCT is meant to be like
it's
melting pot.
The capital is supposed to be a pot puree. Like Lagos is not just you know everybody lives here.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm of the opinion that maybe a native from Abuja, you know, should actually be
at some point.
Yes, a minister for FCT. I think
there's a minister of state also.
I think that we should give, you know, that minority group of people, you know, some sort of representation in that.
But can you tell me the difference between minister and minister of state?
I'm
confused.
Yes. So minister of state for FCT is Mairiga Mahmood. Mairiga Mahmood. So we don't know where he's from, but it's possible he's from probably that area. So maybe that had find a way to buffer it. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Then let me come to you. What surprises came to you, or what are your own thoughts?
Yes, the appointment that surprised me is Mr. Kayemo's own. You know, the aviation portfolio. I would have expected that he would get something in line with his background, his his background in law. But then the Minister for Justice is also quite capable. So, and also when I checked, because I wanted to understand how ministers are being given portfolios, and I actually realized that to become a minister, you only need a school leaving certificate. So you don't need any subject-specific qualification or industry knowledge. What you just need to bring on board is your administrative knowledge.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to his performance, and I can.
So I think also, I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense, because we've seen a lot of disappointments looking like it's not about their strengths. It's more about their ability to manage certain things. Go ahead.
Yeah, my own initial thought was like, it seems boring. You know, the only exciting thing was the FCT minister and Wike, because that was a surprise. But I quickly checked the North Central. I'm like, what did they give us? So what did they give us? Simon Lalong, that's the former governor of Plateau State. He's been given Minister of Labor and Employment. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. You know, especially since his predecessor, we know all the wahala he went. They went back and forth with ASU.
They should tell him congratulations.
So he is of a different kind of personality. So maybe if because he's calmer. Let's see if that will help with negotiation skills with the different.
I was personally shocked with the one for Mr. Dele Alake, because all of us in the media industry automatically thought he'd be giving Minister of Information, you know, and orientation, you know, and then they took him to solid media. I'm like, hey, solid Bao, how? But then going back to what Damola said, it's not so much about, it's more about administrative ability, and also I think that's a ministry that's somewhat been abandoned for a long time. So it's possible the president needs somebody he can trust. That, you know what, you need to revive this Ministry of Solid Minerals. You need somebody that I can trust. And he's pretty close to the president. So I'm thinking maybe that's why he was given that portfolio.
If you notice, the people in charge of money are the people close to him, Wale Edu and Dele Alake. You see, why I say Dele Alake is in charge of money, that's Solid Minerals. It has
serious money.
You know that we have so much gold in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
If you look well, you will see diamonds. If you look well, you will see platinum. There is platinum here. So if he's on top of his game, it's a money changer. We will make money from it. And hopefully they will use the money well.
Properly.
Hopefully. I don't know nobody. I just like in their hand, do us small.
So that was the shock I had. So when I saw Mohammed Idris, I think, as the Minister for Information, I had to go and Google, who is this person? I had to start looking for him. And actually, he's I saw that he's somebody that he's a Nigerian publisher, public relations professional. He's also a politician. He's the founder, chairman of Blueprint newspaper. He's also the chairman of Abuja-based Kings Broadcasting Limited, owners of the WE 106.5 FM in Abuja. So he's a media man. So which is good. Another one that
What's in charge of? Who is this you're talking about?
Blueprint, that's the Minister of Information and National Orientation, which I thought was really good.
But going back to, you know, when we always talk about the idea of when we have new ministers, what are the expectations? How long are we expecting them to acclimatize before we're able to hold them accountable for what they've done or what they are meant to do? You know, because whenever we've always had ministerial appointment, but we don't have like a JD. You are administrative. We don't have like a goal. So if I'm I'm saying we as the people don't know what the job description, what's your KPI as a minister? If I am appointing you minister for solid mineral, maybe as a minister is being appointed, the president is saying your brief is that over the next 3 years or the next almost 4 years, you are expected to do A, B, C. So that all of us know how. No, we don't know as Nigerians, so that we are able to know what is. Because we might be thinking he will be doing Ajakuta when that was not in his KPI. Maybe his KPI is to go and sit down on the gold.
It will be inaugurated on Monday.
Yes.
After then, hopefully, we'll not get to it.
That's why I'm announcing it up front and I'm shouting so that you'll be here. No, so that if it is the gold, we know where the golds are, and that we know that maybe he's going to clean up all this illegal mining we are hearing about, if that's what he's going to do, but we know specifically
that's what
for all the ministries.
I pray that's what he's going to do. I say Nigeria, we can make money from solid minerals.
We have too many minerals for us to be like this. I'm thinking
even better than the platinum in South Africa. You know, these are potential
revenue for the country.
For
Let me take Kelechi. He's been holding for a minute while I can come back to you. Kelechi, thanks for calling from Shasha.
Mariam, good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me very well?
The volume is low. Maybe they can get increased. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me very well? Can you hear me now?
Somewhat.
We are trying.
Hello?
We can
Go ahead, Kelechi. Please go ahead.
Okay. I am not excited about these ministers and their portfolio. Hello? So I have never been successive governments have never impressed Nigerians at all. They have never performed very well. So nothing about government impresses me at all. You won't see, we will never experience good governance in Nigeria until we change our constitution. That is my take, and that is my stance. And it makes me angry that I cannot experience good governance. That's not even why I called.
I didn't hear him very well. Did you hear him? It was really difficult to hear. I'm so sorry. He wanted us to hear him.
I was going to talk about Matawale.
Okay.
Oh, our friend from Zamfara.
And his second, you know, because my own fear now is that Matawale did not secure Zamfara. So I'm wondering how he's going to secure Nigeria as Minister of Defense.
Minister of State for Defense.
Nobody has told me what the difference is. What's the Minister of State? What's the Minister? Please tell me the difference.
Maybe
I'll check on
Or,
Deputy minister, it's like a deputy.
The
so
deputy
when
to the
minister is not available,
so
then
they are
he
the
steps
same
into
office
capacity.
President and Vice President, they're almost the same now.
Right.
So, Minister of State and Minister,
Right.
those are my own.
You have those concerns about that appointment.
So, because Matawale, Zamfara is known to have so much gold. He was not able to secure that gold. He's
defense.
now
of
become
lives.
Minister of Defense, which is, to me, I would have wanted someone, I'm sure, that can secure Nigeria.
Okay.
So Minister,
go ahead.
yeah, defense too was the next place I was going because, of course, we know we're talking about insecurity and we really wanted to see the people who would be put
to be
in that position. Sadly, for me, I don't know so much about the minister. He's Mohammed Bajaru Abubakar. The only thing I guess we have in common is that he went to ABU Zaria.
Former governor of
but
Jigawa.
You know, and also the former governor of Jigawa. But, you know, I'm not saying he hasn't done much because I cannot personally tell you that I know a lot about him. So I'm waiting to see what he's done maybe in that area. Yes, we have agreed that they're not necessarily, they're mainly administrative. But I would like to understand the thinking behind putting him in there. So, as you said, when the inauguration is done,
Tope knows a lot about him.
what
She
he
doesn't
has.
know.
Let me take this call from
don't know
Joe.
why Mike is throwing
Joe is
me
calling from
off.
Surulere. Thanks for calling. Joe,
Hello.
you're live.
Good morning.
Thanks. Good morning.
Yes. Okay. You know, sometimes it doesn't matter who is coming to a particular position because inside the ministry there, you have directors, deputy directors, PLCs.
everything.
These are the people that they have a grip of what is happening in every ministry. So they are just there to guide the minister or commissioner, appointed commissioner. So it's nothing to worry about. If you stay there for 1 week, you'll understand what is going on because you have, monument, those who has a grip of the job. They have a grip of the job, and they will put you through. In 1 week, you will know what is happening there. So it's nothing to worry about.
All right.
So it's just about Kiyama. I'm talking about Kiyama. Once you get to the ministry, in 1 week, you will know what is going on there because you have experts.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. I was quite concerned about who would get the Minister of Education because I've played in that circle for a while, and I saw it was Professor Tahir Maman, PhD ON SAN. He was the Vice Chancellor, the second Vice Chancellor of Bayes University. If you remember, Bayes University is owned by Labour Party's Vice Presidential candidate.
Yeah.
He's an all-round wealth experience in management of tertiary institutions, general administration spanning well over 3 decades. He was the immediate past DG of the prestigious Nigerian Law School. So now, he's now the Minister of Education. I mean, I'm pretty
I thought we were going to
interested
break
in
that,
how he works.
you know, we were all expecting and hoping that we would unbundle the education
Education.
so that we can give priority to the primary and basic education, which is primary schools. We have too many children out of school, and we're bringing in someone who is in the education space, but probably is more in the university and more passionate about the higher education. While that is very important for proper skills and development, basic education is what will let us reduce the number of criminals.
Doesn't mean you can't handle basic education.
No, you know, like I said, all this one that we're saying now, we're just saying, all this story we're saying now is just waiting until this appointment, so that when this appointment happens, we are expecting that the president will please attach top 3 agenda with each of them, so that even the people working with them will know, because there are lots of things they are handling. It's a whole lot. Nigeria can be a complicated country to live.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll touch on health. Health is another really important area that we're pretty interested in. And petroleum and works. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the portfolios that have been attached to the ministers, and we'd like to hear your views on it. You can call us on 081-764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, which other ones is jumping at you? Why you want to go?
Yeah, I wanted to go on the Minister of Petroleum, because the last president was the Minister of Petroleum, and we all saw what happened in that
8 years.
In the 8 years that he was there. And you know, it's such a serious ministry, and Nigeria is really dependent on petroleum right now, unless maybe Dele Alake can diversify
and give us minerals.
Yeah. The president has so much on his plate.
Yeah.
So much on his plate. Will he really be able to do justice to that ministry?
As that minister.
You know? So I'm hoping that there is a rethink. The president is the head of ECOWAS, is the president of Nigeria.
Have they told us categorically here they're going to be the Minister of Petroleum?
No.
We know that. We don't know that for sure. We only have Minister of State, so we'll see.
But no minister was announced.
But we're still expecting a few more ministers. I mean, some are yet to be.
Yeah, because
El-Rufai hasn't been confirmed.
Yes, so we have this confirmed, and then there were some other stories which...
El-Rufai said they reviewed.
So we have,
Yeah,
yes. So we have Minister of Environment and Ecological Management, and there's no name attached to it. Instead, they just wrote down Kaduna. And we know that Malam El-Rufai is from Kaduna State. And we also have heard stories that he's withdrawn, you know, from it as well, and has asked that it should be given to someone else. I think he even gave a name and says that person will do a better job, or will do a good job.
Minister of Petroleum?
The Minister of State for Environment and Ecology is Ishak Salako, who I'm also trying to figure out, you know, what he's done. But I hope we put someone, especially in this ministry, we put someone who understands how it's done. It's still like a ministry that was still trying to find our feet. Do you understand? And I hope that someone who is a technocrat will be put in that position.
And even
Wale Edun is a hit.
Wale Edun is a hit. Everybody agrees that he's been working in that finance sector, and I think that he's one person that hopefully can even eventually be the CBN governor at some point, if eventually. But this is a starting point for Ministry of, I think it's finance they gave to him. And but they divided that, though. They moved the budget and economic planning somewhere else, so the different ministry. So you can focus on finance, which I think is a square peg in a square hole.
You know, when we talk about ministries and the portfolios they get, I know the comments always is that it's not about their academic background and all of that, but there's a place of passion. There's a place of passion. When you love something, when you are passionate about education, you see the impact. You're not sleeping, you're not waking, you're dreaming ideas per second. I've seen the way Mariam has this environment thing, the entire life, entire household.
But did she go to school for environment? No, you
But
did.
she's passionate.
Yes, I'm saying that some
so
of
the
us might have-
sacrifices will be necessary, and she's getting the education.
John,
but sacrifices will be
So
necessary
the
to be
point I'm
done.
making is that the qualification we see here, that he's a lawyer, doesn't make that he's passionate about
No,
law.
you're not letting me land
sorry.
my point.
No, I'm just trying to
So
understand you.
I'm hoping that when we are giving the appointment to people, even if the people that get that portfolio don't have that strong passion for that ministry, but they are administrative head, they would get advisors that can help them. They will get special...
Let me agree with her a bit, because, especially with environment, right? Because it is something that we're still trying to grasp as a nation and even as a continent. It would require someone who is even passionate about this to sort of lead it, you know, to where we need to go. Yes, administrative qualities are fine, but if you do not have the understanding or the passion for it, there are some things you'll be unable to do as much as someone who sort of has...
Just like we're told here that the former Minister of Petroleum, Tam David West, was widely regarded as one of the best ministers of petroleum, but he was a virologist. So, yes, you might be... that might be what you've learned, but the truth is that you can actually still carry that passion. Okay. So I'm just saying that you can actually, if they put YK, for example, in Ministerial, petroleum, you'll be surprised. We will because her passion is... Her passion the point is not about petroleum because you understand the results of it. It's not about being passionate about petroleum. When you realize that if I achieve this, this is what's going to get me. No, you'll be surprised.
So minerals would actually fit her better.
Yeah.
She's passionate
about solid minerals.
No.
Solid minerals.
Let's get it. Exactly. Because she's passionate about the benefits of saving our mineral resources. So that's what's more important. Not that Aboike is either a tourism person or entertainment, but she's passionate about Nigeria saving money and earning revenue from those resources.
No more flooding, wherever they put there. We don't want flooding.
I have a call, I'm told. I'll come to you, Damola, while you're looking at you, when you really, that jumps at you. Let me take this call. Good morning, thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live.
Yes. My name is Elijah Ita. I'm calling from Abuja.
You're welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I think when it comes to technocrats, I think there is nobody that doesn't go to school. When people contest or support political parties, they support them because they have interest and they have the purpose and why they want to contribute to the government. And if we see in the list of all those who are appointed, they are well schooled. And we believe that they will contribute their quota to the development of the nation. Looking at Wike as the FCT minister, I think is one of the best things that can happen to APC as a party. The FCT has been in a very serious disarray over the years. The FCT no longer win APC can no longer win election in FCT. There have been serious opposition winning the election within the FCT. As the state of power has been so dirty, you see bags moving all over from one point and the other. In the days of Erufai, you see the state you see the FCT very clean, people behaving well, and you see gutters and everything everywhere very clean. But in recent years, you find things not being organized. Yeah. You find the Federal Capital Territory in a very disarray manner. But I think with the emergence of Wike, we know him as a no-nonsense person. Right. He is coming to do the needful.
Okay. All right. Damola, let me come to you. Right. Which of that ones? Let's talk about the women for a second. Which one is jumping at you?
Well, I wanted to address the health minister, because health is a key sector of the economy, and I'm particularly happy about this one, about the minister. His name is Dr. Mohammed Ali Pate, and his resume, I Googled him. Yes, is quite loaded. He is a professor of practice of public health leadership in the Department of Global Health. He formerly served as a global director for health, nutrition and population, director of global financing. So he understands what I'm assuming that he understands what is needed to revive that sector. He's even part of the committee that chaired a reform, all the reforms that are needed in the health sector. So I'm really looking forward forward to how they intend to resuscitate the national insurance health scheme, because it's very, very crucial.
And even in addition,
and the public health sector is also very crucial. You know, just create an environment, a healthy environment.
And even the Minister of State for Health also, Tunji Alausa, he's a nephrologist and the founder of the Kidney Care Center in the United States. So he is Dr. Tunji Alausa. He obtained his bachelor's from the University of Lagos back then, and he has a kidney care center in the US. So he's obviously coming back home to serve his country. So this on this health sector, I think we got it right. Yeah. Both the minister and the Minister of State.
Yeah, somebody just sent me a text that they heard it on the radio that the Minister of Petroleum is the president.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
I don't know.
We'll see. I didn't see it in the papers yet, but we'll see.
I want to announce it.
I'm not really interested in whether who is who or who does what, as long as you do it well.
Yeah.
Go there and do the job well. That's my own. You see, like that they've made Festus Keyamo Minister of Aviation. I passed that airport and it's not done well. Come here and I will talk it.
Definitely.
Because, you see, we must not forget that the airport is the eye of Nigeria. When you land, it's what you meet there that you will expect. But, and right up to date, I'm not proud of our airport.
Yeah. You and the rest of us. Let me go on a quick break.
So Festus Keyamo, he has taken a very huge role, and I hope that he's up to the task.
That's all his.
Okay, let me take this call from Muyiwa, then we're going to break. Muyiwa, thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very, very much. Now, the thing is that we shouldn't expect the president. The president has said well, and the truth is that like other people have said that these people are, they may not be experts in such way that they are appointed, but are experts in the ministry, which they are overseeing. I think what we should be expecting from them is just proactiveness, and we should be able to do well and be able to coordinate the ministry very well. The leadership attributes, I think, they should be well.
Audio is not clear.
Oh, we didn't hear you very well, Muyiwa. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the ministerial portfolios.
We better,
yes, let's talk about the women. Go ahead,
yes. Please. I think a few of you wanted her to hope she'll be in health, but they've made her the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. And I've even read some of the comments. A lot of people think that she'll do a very good job of that. They said she's always been like a hard worker. She's philanthropic anyways. I think it's an important ministry. And from what I've seen so far of the lady, I think that we need an injection of that sort of personality in there, someone who can coordinate, organize. There's just so much, involved in that. With the past administration, there were some scandals about how monies were used or misused. Yes, monies that the minister would say, I actually signed it off, but it never got to, the designated places. So I hope that she's better able to handle this so that because this is about vulnerable people. Vulnerable people would receive the help that they need.
Our IDP camps are an eyesore, and there's been several stories of how they would say food was supposed to get there, but the food never got to them. So we really we're hoping that Better Edu steps up. But there's someone I'd like us to interview on this show. Her name is Hannatu. Yes, Hannatu Musawa. Why I want your view, ladies, to get to interview her is because when I Googled her name, the first few articles I'm seeing is about the fact that she cried. As a ministerial nominee.
And we discussed it on the show.
Yeah, I know. And for me, you don't want that narrative to be what when you Google your name is what they see. And I'm sure that as I've read her CV, she has a whole lot to offer. So yes, at that moment she was emotional, but we need to see her. So please, whoever is the media person for
she's a fan of the show. I had met her during the campaign, And she came to me. She says, Mariah, I love your show. She watches the show very much. And she actually really understands that she works with women very well. And that I don't know her very, very well, but I know of her. And I've seen her a few times during the campaigns that happen. So definitely, she's somebody would definitely like to speak with. But I think she has a huge pedigree and she has a good music experience that she can bring to the table.
The portfolio she's handling is culture. And that culture portfolio sort of like is too important for us because there's a lot of division, there's a lot of fight, and we're not talking enough about our history, who we are. And there's somebody I follow on social media, an American that came to Nigeria for Osho Festival. There was the Ojudio, but there are many things that are about our culture that we need to talk about more and push that narrative. The orientation too is a very, very powerful area. That so I really want, there's a lot that she can do for
Minister of Women Affairs, Madame Uju. You remember her? We had a 1-year job, but she was the woman that stepped down. That's all I knew about her. She stepped down for the president during the primaries. You know, and I remember her very clearly.
Interview all the
but interestingly, during her screening, we now learned about the work she has done in her state. She was very into philanthropy. She helped a lot of women. So I think hopefully we'll see the kind of work she's going to do nationally. I mean, she's just been in the Southeast for her work, but now she has to be doing it for the nation. So we'll see how much impact that she can make going on. Which other woman do we have there? Minister from the Southeast. I think there's another person that I saw from the Southeast, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite. I don't know much about her, but I'm pretty excited about we'll definitely get more details. In the days coming, we'll definitely get more data about these people, information. Who else do we know like it?
Lola, what's her name again?
Southwest.
Adejon.
That's Minister of Tourism.
Minister of Tourism.
That's an area
Ministry for Trade.
She may be able to, you know, I hope that she will be very, she's a woman, so she will be passionate.
And we are fashion.
She will do it. You know, because what we want, you know, what we want are people who want to do the job properly. You know, so I'm hoping she's one of those people, you know.
Right, so as I said...
I don't want to say because you're a woman or you're a man.
Yes, we just hope you can do the job well.
Because it's a bit, as I said, we just got this list yesterday. We're just gradually getting acquainted with these names. In the coming days, we'll have more information about them, what they've done, why they fit. Yeah, but we saw them doing the screening. But in the days coming, we'll be able to know better who these people are, what they've done, and why the president feels that they fit in this. I was still going to go back to the Southeast. Minister of State, Labor and Employment is Nkiruka. Onye Jiocha. Okay, I thought that was the Women Affairs. Minister of Women Affairs is Uju Kennedy, so I'm mixing them up. So the woman that stepped down is Madam Uju Kennedy, and the other woman who is the Minister of State for Labor and Employment is Nkiruka Onye Jiocha. Those are the two different ministries. But Minister of Works, everybody's going on and on about the former governor, David Umahi, that he did fantastic in his state, that he will be great in works, that is a good win for him. I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of work in works. There's a lot of work because we have a challenge with our roads, we have challenge with our infrastructure, and we have a bigger challenge with the people's mindset towards the infrastructure. So even if you do the lot of work, the people can start removing they can cause it to derail by simply removing all the metal things on the road. So it might be going there as
orientation.
Yes. No, it might be going as works, but your work would not show if the people destroy your work. So you would have to orientation. You pally orientation and you will take it up on yourself. It's not a speaking person. That's the current works person, and the former works person was a very, very speaking person. So right now, as the people will have to adjust to a new style of leadership, but he has a lot of work for him as Minister for Works.
What of the Minister of Youth? He's not a youth.
He's not youth, though. I saw it, though.
Balagba.
Maybe you need an older person.
One second, I can't hear anybody.
The head of our family, the Jibolu Taiwo family in Abeokuta, the head of the youth is about 90-something year old.
Really? In your own family? Maybe the president took a cue from your family. Because the Minister of Youth, Abubakar Momo, according, nobody knows his age, but according to what I'm reading here, it says that he bagged his PhD in 1998. That's 35 years ago. So he's Agbalagbi.
Even if he bagged at
What if he was
25?
a genius and he bagged it at a young age?
At what age?
Maybe 30.
Well, we also
My cousin is always saying he has never seen an old man that is head of
Madam Mola, you say something?
Yes, I think we also need mentorship as youth. For the fact that we want, for the fact that the ministry says Ministry of Youth does not mean that it has to be headed by a very young person.
Okay, this, I
Like,
disagree with that.
somebody mid-range would actually do. And when I Googled this man, I didn't find his age as well. Age not revealed. Exactly. So I could not really...
Which
but
even
when,
makes
but when
sense.
I judged him by his picture, he looks like a man in his 50s. So he still cuts across between the younger
50s,
generation
yeah.
and me. Because we can't media.
In Nigeria, 40 to 50 are still quite
But you know that our
No,
median
50,
age is
50
what?
is the elder of the youth.
okay.
We need mentorship.
I think it's a good thing.
We're gonna be wrapping up. We're gonna be wrapping up very soon. But is there any other one that jumps at you that before you wrap up? Oyetola, former governor of Osun, is now your transportation minister.
We do have a lot of former governors
Now,
in
transportation
this
of the ministry, transportation is huge because obviously that's where we need the number one palliative after the subsidy removal. We need to ensure that the transportation network across the nation is done such that it's seamless. People can transport goods and the roads. No, it's not in charge of roads, but that issue of the CNG buses the president promised, I'm sure it's probably going to go through his ministry. We need.
Rail is under him now.
I'm just saying, rail is rail under him. No, it's just ministry.
I know they separated.
No, they divided it all.
Yes.
It was separated. I think we have somebody else in charge of that. But this is huge, and I think I hope that this is something that he's able to handle properly. I'm just going through the other ones that I see. Okay, so I think we're done here. But as I said, we're just still at early days in the review. In the coming days, we get more information about all the portfolios. And by Monday, we're told that there'll be the ministers will be finally be inaugurated, and then they start their work, and then we'll see what their JDs according
This
to.
is not the full list, right?
We're still expecting. With Stella Okotete is not in this list. I didn't see her. She's yet to be confirmed. We're really hoping to see what portfolio they'll give to her. Who else is outstanding? I think that's the only person I didn't
ministries.
As
that are
in
ministries,
not people.
Okay.
We'll see which other ones are outstanding. But we have to wrap up.
Lola Adejon is she's not a politician,
Yeah,
but she's
technocrat,
a
IT,
and
banking
detailed
sector.
professional, which is a good thing, you know. So hopefully
We'll get more information about all of them very soon. That's all we can take, but these are just our initial thoughts on the list, the portfolios, what they do. Those are, and the Minister of State. Nobody has told us exactly, because we thought this president was not going to have Minister of State. But maybe there were political contingencies to ensure that, we have to accommodate everybody. But either way, we wish them the best. And we're going to break now. When we come back, we move on to our proper Thursday topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. There was a story that went online yesterday. Of course, we all on social media, and this story kind of caught our attention. There was a grandmother who was lamenting that her late son's wife came to her after 7 years to claim her child, which she had abandoned when he was 6 months old. The grandmother was taking care of that child since he was 6 months. The lady came, obviously 7 years after, to claim her child. From the grandma's perspective, she raised this child from petty trading stuff, and the mother abandoned them, never looked back. Her own son died, so this is the only child she has from her son. However, the mother who came back, her perspective was, I had to go struggle. We're living in poverty here. I cannot remain with you. If I had stayed with you, we'll still be in this situation. I had to leave, remove myself, go find money, struggle, hustle, and then now I'm back. Yes, I'm married to somebody else. I've not been able to have a child, but this is my biological child. This is my blood. I want my child back. And then the matter was posted on social media. Many people were going left and right. Many people were agreeing with the grandmother. Some are agreeing with the woman that's her biological child. What are your thoughts? And we're going to take this also a bit further in when things like this happen, where a spouse is lost, who handles the family? Who handles the children involved? How does this play out? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-764-1679, 090-2416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Going by the video, I mean, it's easy to support the grandma because you see the countenance and behavior of the woman, but in other situations, in other stories, where the woman comes across as remorseful. So we can look at this in different ways. If a woman abandons her child, says, I had to just leave, I had to go struggle, now I'm back, I want my child. What do you think is the right solution? I'll start with you, Damola. What are your own thoughts when you saw this video? What came to mind, and how do you think this should have been handled?
When I saw the video and the woman's countenance, I just asked myself, is this a mother? Because I do not understand the kind of hustle that would want to take you from your child for 7 good years. You know, she said she got an opportunity to travel abroad, but the grandma actually said she just stepped out of the house without even informing anybody. She just stepped out and just disappeared. She went to her parents to say, I can't find your daughter. There's nobody to take care of this child with me. And I'm sure that the parents would have extended this grandma's worries to her. And she didn't come back. Her excuse, she didn't know how to find her. But then after 7 years, she's coming back to claim the child. And she's not even asking, just like you mentioned, she's not even remorseful about it. She's asking grandma, tell me your price, I will pay you off. How is the grandma sure that you do not want to use the child for something diabolical? Because the woman, she made a valid point. She said, okay, because you've now gone to marry a rich man, I do not know where the man's source of wealth is coming from. I do not know if you want to use my child for something. So if she wanted that child, I think she should have been more respectful. She should have placed her matter, presented her matter in a more logical manner. And they can even share custody of the child. Okay, and Mama, I understand your child has died. This is the only child that you're, actually calling your own. But we can be sharing the custody. Yeah. Just give me an opportunity to be in his life. Something like that. Instead of just, telling her, you know what, it is my child, give it to me. And she cannot even identify the child. Right. She doesn't even know who this child is.
Let me hear your thoughts on this before we go into the other act.
Oh, okay, so I didn't want to judge the mother from that short video, because I'm not, we're not aware of what may have transpired before that particular day. And she was almost ambushed. If you look at the way it was set up, it looked like, oh, come and collect your child. And then you find that there are people with cameras and they're asking you questions. So I don't know if that was just her defense mechanism. What I want to talk to is in the way that this can be handled or should be handled. A lot of times we make mistakes because we don't even have, there's really no template or a way that we're supposed to carry ourselves or do things like this. So a grandmother has been raising a child without you being there. She said she had to go and hustle. Like you, I don't understand how a mother goes away completely. So there's going to hustle and still keeping in touch, and then there's going away silently for 7 years. First of all, you come across like someone, you could do it for 7 years without feeling any remorse. But still, I know of people who have sort of done that, and in the hustling, their mind has always been at home. So there's a way, we have to be careful how we judge people. Now that you are back, you must recognize that you went away 7 years and you did not come back. You went away until you thought you were comfortable or convenient for you. Meanwhile, there's someone who had to do it in inconvenience, in discomfort, in penury, obviously, as the case we saw. So for me, I would have preferred a remorseful person coming there and saying, she might have come there knowing, I'm the mother. There's nobody that can deny a mother a child. But she has to understand that sometimes the person that nurtures you is your mother. Even if you're the mother and you come and take away a child from the comfort zone that he's grown in 7 years, you will traumatize the child. Even if you love that child and you have all the things in the world and you're the wealthiest person in the world and you take a child away from where they were, from babies, they've always received love, you will traumatize that child. And if that child is really your focus, you will think about how that will affect him. I would have said, Visit more often now that you're back. Develop a relationship with that child while he's in his safe place with his grandmother. Introduce yourself gradually until that child gets to know you. And eventually, the grandmother too is able to see you and learn to trust that you can be a good mother for this person. But all in all, that conversation was supposed to have happened in the police station or to go to court.
You know, I mean, as I said, if we want to judge the video, obviously it's easy to judge and say, oh, the biological mother is wrong in her approach. But there are people, I mean, if we put this video aside for a second and look at mothers who don't intentionally want to abandon their children. This person had to go outside the country. For some reason, you had an opportunity. You have to think to yourself, okay, do I stay in Nigeria? I have an opportunity to leave. I know my child is with his grandmother, and you travel abroad. You don't have access. You don't have access to your child in any way. And you hustle, you come back home. You already feel embarrassed and ashamed that you abandoned this child. And then you feel you escape poverty. Now you have something more comfortable. In your mind as a mother, you're thinking, let me eject my child from where he is and bring him into something better because he can make a better life for himself if he's with me. I appreciate you as a mother, but as a grandmother, but he needs me now. It's easier for us to say from outside in looking at, but as a mother, she could be saying, I need you to come and live with me to have a better life. Tope.
Okay, so for me, I feel that, you know, like Mariam said, if you don't wear the shoe, you will not understand what the person is going through. Because for a fact, the woman was widowed. Who knows the mental state of that woman?
Exactly.
At that point in time. She's a young woman, widowed, in poverty. There are cases where you hear women saying that they are strangling their children or they are killing their children. And be like, what kind of mother is this? But if you expose that mother to therapy, she loves the child, but in that mental state, I would do something I don't want to do. Let me just escape. So in some cases, it might be, I just need to. And I either fight or I might die. And that might be what she was feeling at the time. We don't know the entirety of that story, but we know that she was in a bad place. She was a widow with a son and in poverty. And she made a choice that many women will not make, which she probably regrets and is trying to make amends for. How she went about the conversation, obviously wrong. If we're looking at that video to judge her, all of us would be on the same page in saying that this is a horrible mother, but let's not do that. That's on one side. Another side is the grandmother, that grandma is entitled to being very, 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 very angry because she's had to suffer through to raise that child. And she should not, under any circumstances, give up that child 100% to be taken somewhere where she will have no custody or be able to see the person she has raised. It was wrong. And, you know, I'm married into Edo State. Yeah. And in that space, there are several cases where the family would agree. Husband would agree. Wife should go to Germany or Italy to go and do what we know they do in Germany or Italy because they feel that's the solution to help out with the family here. And the woman will be sending money, which the man will use to build house and do all sorts. And there are stories where the woman would come back home and be shocked to find that the man had remarried and had other children and it's abandoned our own children. So sometimes women do this thing as a sacrifice, like I need to just, it seems there's no other way out. Let me do this. I used to also judge those women when I hear that the woman left, you knew you were going to go and do prostitution and you left. She was like, what I was doing here at home was worse. So let me go and see if this will make my life better. I told you the story about my house help too. The mother, my house many years ago, one woman, Mommy BJ, she called herself, her daughter had done exactly the same thing. They were married. She went abroad, and the husband was coming to my house to be just checking because he was sending money to the husband from Italy and stuff like that. I mean, it was an agreed thing where the family did. But going back to this story, Waike, let me come to you. You know, the question was, who owns the child? A mother lost her son, and the only link she has is the grandchild. Now, if the mother, her son's wife was responsible, would she have allowed her son's wife to live with the baby? That's one end. Because if that woman had wanted to live with the 6 months old, if she was not irresponsible as she played out, if she wanted to relocate and carry that baby, would she have allowed that baby to go along with her? Or would she have the mentality that, my son died, or this baby
belongs to me. She's not going anywhere. Where, I mean, culturally, where do you think, what would have been the best approach? Because if she would have released that child, why is she finding it difficult to release the child at this point?
You know, but she
didn't release
remember, the woman said she brought the child to her. And that's why I even find it very strange. The mother actually took the child to her.
They were living together. They're living together.
She said, I'm coming. I want to go and buy something.
Yeah.
And disappeared. She went to her parents. She could have taken the child, to her parents now, where she would have had access when she came back. But she left it with the child's mother because maybe she knew that one was missing her son. So that one, since my son is not here, let me look after the baby like he's my son. And we're not even sure that the grandmother has even been an excellent grandmother. Because the woman is not aware. She has not been calling them. She has not, hey, you see, I don't know, because me, I can't drop my child anywhere. I cannot.
But, so somebody is saying that, why didn't she leave with, said, Mo, she should have come to take the child and the grandmother with her.
Well, what if she doesn't have enough resources to be able to do that? But you know, Waike, you made a point. You said, why did she leave it with her own parents, leave the child with her own parents? A mother can look at the situation and say, you know what, because this is something that happened. My mom said to me that when we were much younger, she had gotten a nursing job to go to Greece. But she looked around her and she was like, I know there's no one that will make sure this children's education is as important as I want to, you know. They may just let them, okay, go to school and come back. And she felt that if she left us at that age, you know, it would be detrimental to us. So maybe she looked at both her parents and her in-laws and thought the child would do better with the in-laws. Okay, if I leave this child here, I can see the way she is loving on her child. Let me go and hustle. Whenever I come back, I know my child will be well. Right. And then the conversation of how do you know if the grandmother was a good mother? You know, there comes a point in life where you realize the one that is there is your parent. Do you understand? That is the one. I've shared this story before where, you know, I have a stepfather. And, you know, over the years, I now got to meet my father's family. And I just could not connect with them. The truth is that my stepfather is my family. However he was, however he is. He was the one that I woke up in the morning, I saw, we're going to school, he drops you off, he brings you back. However he is. You even though be Angel Gabriel, if you were not there when you know you are needed, that's it. So
let me take a call and I'll come to you, Damola. Tola, thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
You're live.
My name is Tola.
Morning, Tola.
Thank you. So the question you are not asking is, what is that child that died? Like, will the mother come back and, I mean, if the grandmother was not so good to have, you know, taken care of the child, or she abandoned the child and the child had died, would she have gone back to the child?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, because my auntie did that nonsense to her sister. She left her daughter with her own sister for so many years. She took care of the child. After so many years, she came back and started fighting her sister because of that child. Now, the sister does not have doesn't have children of her own. She knows that she's late now, by the way. The younger sister is late now. She knew that the older sister took very good care of her daughter for her. And then she just went like that. She wasn't even calling. She would go to her sister occasionally and, you know, see the daughter. And she didn't even care about her, you know, because she felt like, oh, okay, you're in safe hands. I mean, she's taking care of you and stuff. I don't know what came over her after so many years. After she saw that she had grown, that was when she came back and started claiming the child. Of course, that caused so much problem because she now tried to turn the child to that woman. She now tried to turn the child against the woman.
Okay.
No, against the sister. I mean, against the person that took care of her. The mother turned the daughter's back against the one that took care of her. You know, she started saying things like, oh, she doesn't like you. If she really likes you, she would have done this for you while you were growing up. She would have done that. She would have done this. And people were like, you, the mother, did you do anything? Do you understand? She's late now, by the way.
You know,
thank you very much, Tola.
Because I had almost the same experience directly. My mother died. I used to leave my child with my mother and go on tour. And my mother died. You know, I abandoned Tope. I abandoned the work and faced my child. And Femi's child was with me because Funke was going. So I was now the mother of the 2 children. You know, I cannot imagine abandoning my child. I don't care which money it is I'm looking for.
Right.
And even if I have to abandon my child, because sometimes you don't know.
Life happens.
Communication.
Yeah.
Communicate, letter,
I was going to say.
phone call, gifts, send me gifts.
Right.
But I feel like touch one mommy.
Yeah.
At least the mother will know, the grandmother will know that she's in the
mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me come to Damola because I want to hear your thoughts. I want to switch it a bit. Is it possible that the grandma is being selfish? Let me tell you why. Because the grandma is saying that this child is is my only link, she's my only blood. And I would rather this child stay with me in this penury or in this poverty than get a better life with the mother. And although she might not be able to guarantee, because we don't even know if the woman coming has good intentions. But just speaking hypothetically, that am I being selfish because I want to lay hold of this, my blood, then giving him up to his biological mother, who is likely to provide a better life, better education, better exposure, better opportunities for this child. But I'd rather him stay with me in selling coconut and just because I want him to be with me. Is that being selfish?
From that video, I have judged the 2 of them. I judged them well. Yeah, I judged the 2 of them. I judged the grandmother's countenance and I judged the mother's countenance. So, to answer your question, grandmothers are usually very attached to their grandchildren. I know how my mom is attached to my son. In fact, we've had discussions of, oh, when I get married, I'm taking my son with me. And she said, no, my son. I said, he's my son. No, he's my son. Like, we have that conversation between us. Like, if you just go like that, well, what will happen to me? Because I'll be lonely. Do you understand? So she's not being selfish. It's just that attachment. And just like YK said, communication. When you were going to hustle, why didn't you just tell Mama, I am going out. Look at this opportunity. I'll be back. Or send so. And she was married. We need to also check the intention. She was married for 4 years. And because she's currently, I don't want to call her barren, but she doesn't have any child in her marriage right now. That's when she's coming. Yeah, she's not remembering this child.
Okay, I have a call, but you see, I'll be careful to judge these videos because all of us judge that jam girl. Remember that jam girl that said that she checked the printed. We all, a lot of Nigerians, initially were like, jam messed up. Then the girl came with the video and we're like, oh, that girl, the way she looked, there's no way. The same judging of you. And then later, so the point is that let's be very careful in judging through video. But I have a caller. Hang in there. Okay. Let me take a call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Bountiful, you're live.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, I'm lucky to call in today. After so many tries.
We thank God.
Look.
So, on this matter, I would want us to focus on the video because it's the content at hand. And from my own professional point of view, in this situation, what we are going in for is the child. If the child is a priority, then I hope we all know that under the law, the child rights law, parents can be sued for neglect. The mother has actually, and when you say neglect, it also covers provision of shelter, clothing, and other things the child may need. 2, this mother, the biological mother in question, judging by this video, that's the case before her.
Yeah.
She's selfish.
Yes. Judging by the video.
For whatever reason she abandoned that child is a selfish reason. For whatever reason she's coming back for that child is a selfish reason.
Yeah.
Now, we now go to the third fact that is she worthy of the custody of the child?
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, if I judge by the fact before me, she's not worthy of the custody of the child. The only place, yes, please.
What if she just has a bad attitude? Her approach is wrong because there are different people. She might be in a serious mental state that needs some kind of mental examination because in her heart of hearts, she really wants that child, but she's just going about it the wrong way. Maybe she's been exposed to various factors that have caused her to look the way she or act the way she acted that we saw in the video. But if we calm her down She's just a mother who wants to reconnect with her biological child, period.
Emo. But I started with the fact that this is the case before us, the fact before us. I am first a social worker and I'm a psychologist. And I can tell you, whatever, even if it's a mental state, she's not deserving of the custody of a child.
Absolutely.
Two factors in a child life, nature and nurture. The nurture, the environment the child has lived with for 0 to 7 years is the grandmother. Even when you have to transit the child, like I said, if the child is a priority, you can't do a sharp transition like that.
Okay.
You can't do a sudden transition of a 7-year-old from a familiar habitat to a different place totally. Okay, do you know where you're now? So if the fact before us is what we are judging it.
Thank you, Bounce.
Thank you, Bounce.
Oh, are we thinking about the child? Is anybody think about the child's future?
I think it is too important that we talk about that child, which is why I'll take this approach. The mother's behavior, if we're judging based on the video, horrible.
Yeah.
The grandma's behavior, yes, justified to be angry. But if we're thinking of the child, then she should have this child should have exposure to the mother as well as stay with the grandma. There's a mistake we do when we are emotional. Yeah. You know, women raise children by themselves. The same, if the man shows up, I will not let you see those child. These children I raised by myself. Yeah. I can out of anger. You know, a man might be angry with his wife and he will abandon his children. We don't think about the children. In this case, this child is important. Thinking about that child, you're thinking about what's best for the well-being of the child. Do I want my grandchild to grow up thinking that the mother abandoned him all through? Some people lie. Your mom is coming, that's she, your mom is working very hard, just so that the image in the mind of that child will help, because you don't want to raise a child that is traumatized.
Yes, or full of hate.
Or full of hate. The repercussion is horrible. Yeah. Sometimes you see women that I know someone that will be always telling the man that she's the one paying school fees, but she will say the father sends the money. She's paying school fees, you say the father send the money, just so that the children don't feel like our father has totally abandoned us, so that they have a balanced life.
Thank you.
So for me, thinking about this child, the woman is angry, but the woman should let the child know the mother, have a relationship with the mother, but do not let that mother take.
So if grandma had been preaching love, if grandma is caring about the child, because we're not looking at it from an angle of, this is me, I want the best for this child. I have raised this child to know that he has a mother. She has left you, but she loves you. And even then the mother comes in, even regardless of her behavior, there's a way you approach it. You even let the mother know that, listen, I have raised this child for you. You have a right to this child. However, we can have a conversation around it. But the way the grandmother is making it look as if, no, I have raised you, you're not taking any child, it's almost like you built a barrier regardless. And that shouldn't be seen as right.
It makes sense if, it makes sense to do that, especially if, but you can only do that if you're in communication with the mother in some way. From what I understood, the grandmother had gone, when she had gone for a while and she had not seen her, she went to this woman's family to find out. And they said, don't worry, she will come. I think that's what he said to her. And it's okay. I know we're just seeing her as a grandmother, but that woman was wearing her protective mother hat. There's nobody that can, as far as she was concerned, this woman, even though you are biologically the mom, you haven't shown any motherly instinct towards my child. It will be hard to hand over this child to you just because you gave birth to this child. You haven't shown me anything in the past 7 years to make me trust you. It just also reminded me of the story of Solomon and the baby, and from looking at their attitude, he said the mother was like, no, don't kill the child, just give. So I feel like the mother herself was not thinking about her own child's well-being, mentally. She just wanted to be there, take the child and go away. And we cannot take away the fact that she had been back 4 years and she still didn't check on that child. It's hard. I've seen cases abroad, they don't waste time, they'll go straight to court, of grandparents with their children fighting for custody of their grandchildren. Because this one, she was whatever, she had the child, we raised the child, wherever she went, she was doing her drugs, then finally she comes back and she wants to take our child. As far as we're concerned, yes, she may be our daughter, but we don't think she's capable. We don't think she is a good
over
mother,
their own
and
child.
so I'm going to hold on to this child, and they give them custody. I think that we're being unfair to the grandmother because we think she's just a grandmother, that she's not a
she's
mother.
invested.
Yes,
Okay, let
or
me
not invested.
take this call from Stella. Thanks for calling, Stella.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
How are you guys doing? Yeah.
Good.
Interesting topic. I was listening and I just said, a lot of perspectives and light has been thrown on the video. And I think that I agree with virtually everything that has been said. But what I would just add is that, sometimes we might fall prey to drawing conclusions based on the limited information that is portrayed. There are a whole lot of, issues in situations that sometimes you cannot even begin to analyze. There are underlying things that may have played out that we are not privy to. I would not stand on whether it is the grandmother that ought to have the baby or it is the mother. One thing is true, which we all recognize. The approach of the mother has not been right.
Yeah.
She needs to work on that. She needs to earn the trust of the grandmother.
Exactly.
But for me, primarily, whatever her sins are, is her child. I think that's where I stand, is her child.
Thank you very much, Stella. Some who have cast aspersions on the character of the mother, saying, oh, it's because she doesn't have a child from her husband's, in a new marriage. That's why she's coming. Do we have a right to judge her based on that? This is a child she has given birth. It's her biological child. She carried this child for 9 months. Either, regardless of the fact that she has children or no children, whose business is it? She wants to have access to her biological child. Why do we then judge her because she unfortunately doesn't have a child yet in her marriage, or now saying that's why she doesn't have authority over this new child?
One person's message has come through. David Omeze. The young lady who abandoned her son for 7 years is only a birth channel and not the mother of the boy. The grandmother has developed bonding with her grandson as though he is her lost son. The truth for me is the attitude of the biological mother is zero for me. I don't think the grandma is selfish in this case. Why? She developed the attachment to the grandson. The mother is an ingrate. There is no amount of hustle or mental state that negates communication. And that's what is that communication that she didn't communicate with the mother, the grandmother. That's look.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want to go personal. But maybe I just
a bit.
My brother has 2 kids, and their mother doesn't communicate with them at all. Yeah, one is 14, the other is 16. She will come now and say, I want to take my children.
Who raised them?
The children don't know her.
Right.
I've even tried. I've called her, come and see your children. Sure, you will not tell me that person
will not show up one day.
Will not show up one day and say, I want to take my children. Take them to where?
Well, we've seen situations where a woman there are various factors. You got in an accident. You were in coma for a period. You were taking care of somebody took care of. There are different scenarios that makes you just hang in them. So I'm just saying that we shouldn't just totally judge the decision and assume that she's wrong for abandoning. There are different reasons that have happened.
You look at other scenarios instead of this one. This particular scenario, I feel, is dumb.
Right. So on this scenario, and that was what, even with this scenario, even as bad as this woman is, for the sake of the mental health and stability of that boy, she should. The grandma should allow him have a relationship with
his
her.
mother.
That's for me.
That's where I'm going.
Very, very important.
Critical.
But the timing of when she showed up and the fact that she doesn't have a child is why there's this level of
and she owes the explanation, Damola, to the child. Really? Yes. Is the child she has a conversation with? Really?
Not
so, is the yes, let me jump in, Damola, please.
Okay. I am still judging this woman because of her. Because of her attitude. Because she told the grandma I want to pay you off. That statement is very irritating. You want to pay her off for her love, her care, her time that she has invested in that child for 7 years. She's not even looking to share custody with the woman. She just wants to snatch the boy away. Because when one of the reporters was asking her, so what do you want, what do you think would happen to Mama if you take this
But
child?
Damola, go back
She
to what
said that I don't care.
Let me pause you for a second. What Miriam said earlier.
Yeah.
A mother comes in, you see somebody with camera, somebody with microphone to accost you. Of course, you're going to get defensive. You didn't come to a living room where you and grandma are having a conversation with an adult. You are coming and where you are being accosted and you're being told, oh, you abandoned your children. Of course, we don't know her mental state. You will get defensive. You can say things you regret. But we shouldn't judge her based on that.
But she should have used that platform to clarify why.
Clarify how?
She was ambushed.
It was an ambush. It was a complete ambush, and it was unfair on her. It was unfair to come and just start demanding things from her.
It's gone viral now, so
okay, let the child stay with me. You come and be taking the child out. The same mother that dropped the child and ran away will carry the child and run away. So that is where the grandmother is not saying don't come and have a relationship with your child.
Yeah.
But how am I sure you are not a reliable person? You have been running up and down like cockroach since. If you come and take this child now, you will run with the child.
Yeah. When you get in a tough time again tomorrow, what would you do? You abandon this child, and then you start off a pattern that the child is confused about. So if
Are we preempting that?
Yes, I am. She has given a pattern. I am actually, and I feel I can do that based on the facts that we have before us. She did not deny that she walked out quietly. She did not deny that 7 years she did not get in touch. She did not deny that she's been married 4 years. She'd been back, married 4 years after then she decides to come back. So that is a pattern. So unless she says, you know what, I'm willing to let you see who I am now. I'll come and visit him once every month in the beginning. I'll come and then eventually every 2 weeks, every 1 week. Eventually you, Mama, you can come with the child and see where I'm living. Then you form a relationship. You need to buy the trust of that mother and that child. And we're thinking that a child may just run to his mom. Very unlikely. Because that's his mother. His grandma is his mother. She doesn't even know him. He doesn't know her.
We have to wrap up.
What may happen is if she comes with balloons and sweets, he may go for a few minutes. The moment she takes him out of his safe place, he'll be calling, I need to see my mama, you know. So.
All right. So I guess we've just, that's all we can take on this. I think in a nutshell, really, the truth is that in any situation like this, we think of the child first. Let's not abandon our children. Let's ensure that even if you're going to go back to look for your child, you have to do it with respect and regard of the person who's been taking care of the child. So there are different parts of this, but either way, the most important thing is the child was the best interest of that child to have a proper mental stability, a safe, nurturing home with his grandma, and also possibly a relationship with the mother eventually. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.